All right. Hi, everybody. Hi, every spirit. Welcome very much to my YouTube channel. Esoteric Cloud Surfer here, ready to start a vice versa interview with Yomna. Say hi, y'all. Say hi to Yomna. Hi, Yomna.
Hi everybody. Hi, esoteric cloud surfer.
Very much.
I don't know if you only go by that, but that's how I know you.
It's it can
Uh,
be SO as well. SO more short. It's cool.
yeah. Hi,
Or
and thank
SOSU.
you for having me
My
today.
YouTube channel as well. SOSU. It also can be
Okay,
that. Okay.
Esosu, I like that.
It's cool as well. So, thank you everybody for watching. Me and Yomna wish you the best thoughts, ideas, feelings, and emotions, a whole bunch of individuality, creativity, and responsibility as well. And we are here ready to do a vice versa interview. And what is that for the ones that don't know that are watching this format for the same time? Is a format that I came up with myself, which allow both participants to be both hosts and guests. So we both win more in the end of the day. So I'm interviewing Yomna, and at the same time, Yomna will be interviewing me, not Mew, that's a Pokemon, as well. And if you guys want to ask some questions in the chat, feel free, or even after the live stream is over, if you are watching this on the recorded version, you can comment down below, ask questions to me, to Yomna, suggest new topics and things like that. Hi Daria, welcome to the live stream. Shout out to Yomna as well. Shout out to everybody out there changing the world right now by being themselves and showing to the world that the best way to be is to be your goddamn self, right? Because there is no other way to
Mhm.
be in reality. Okay, all other ways it's kind of fake way. You're looking for a shell, trying to look like something rather than yourself. And why doing that? Just waste of time, right? So, and that's why we're here today as well, to show my individuality and to show Yomna's individuality to the world. And maybe you watching will want to be a part of these interviews as well. Let's go. Let's start. So, Yomna, thank you very much for accepting my invitation. And I always start with one question, but we already conversating on the back studio about something else. So let me start with that question in specific, which is for the ones that don't know. Yomna has a little bit no, but she has Egyptian roots. She has family in Egypt, and actually, she was recently visiting over there. And one of my questions was, uh, hold on, what you think about the spiritual, not see I want to say system, but more like spiritual background of Egypt, and how is it kind of being dealt with today by the people of Egypt, like the
Mhm.
culture. Many people think about spirituality and Egypt, and they think about the hieroglyphs and things like that. That's just like a way or a form to show that culture. And you personally go there, you have roots there, you have a way more personal and close outlook about that, and how you see personally the whole, the whole history, but what is more relevant to you about the history of Egypt and its spiritual background. That's my first question.
Okay. Very complex but clear in a way question. Yes. I have Egyptian roots. Um, and okay, when it comes to spirituality, well, my family always raised me with a lot of the culture, and I'd like to think that for someone my age, in this, in 2022, I'm one of the exceptions because a lot of people are from, have other backgrounds and they don't
Mhm.
really have much of the culture in them.
True.
Nah, for me, they really raised me with a different spiritual Egyptian, African, North African, and also
Mhm.
Muslim
True. That's very
culture, which is interesting because it's not like black or white, or there isn't just like one thing. Egypt is such an ancient culture, civilization, so
true.
it's layers. If you think of a newer country, it's not the same. They may just have the Bible and that's it, and nothing really else they believe in aside from maybe
That's
some
true.
natural witchcraft or like herbs, but
Yeah,
when it comes to Egypt, it's so much more. Like you can feel like the spirits. Literally, you can feel the spirits when you go
love the
on that land. If you're in tuned enough. And yeah, for me, I was always like raised into it. Whether it would be like locally in Montreal here in Canada, or even when I would go visit, it was always part of the family. So, there's the ancient Egyptian aspect of it,
yeah,
that weighs a lot because, ancient Egypt wasn't just for a few hundred years, it was for
yeah, for a
thousands of
long.
years. And there was like different dynasties, and it would, change. And also, they would open their doors to different civilizations or tribes. So it's a blend. Um, it's hard to answer the question with like one word, obviously, or one sentence,
Yeah,
but
okay.
it's basically a blend of
Yeah, but
different spiritual
what I get
views.
from your explanation is that it has more substance, or it has more information to be
Yes.
experienced yourself than through a
Hmm.
system or school or one
You
format
can't.
that
Yeah.
everybody tends to believe in. Okay, and that's already
Hmm.
very, okay, even from me. I'm from Portugal, one of the oldest countries in the world as well. But since its
Yes.
creation, it was already a Christian and the Bible, and we were against Muslims, we were against the Moors.
Hmm.
It doesn't go from that.
Yes.
It doesn't go from that.
Yeah.
Then it's just
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
church, church, church. We built this for the church. We built that for the church.
Hmm.
We and the even the legends of Portugal is about Saint something, Saint this. It's always about the
Yeah.
church. So you that
Hmm.
already come from that place where it has many beliefs, many practices, like you were saying, herbs, crystals, and gems, because the Bible is one practice, right? And people think it's the only one.
Definitely.
No, it's
Hmm.
one practice, not the practice. But that's already a part of the spell, because by them calling it the Bible, they are calling it the book. So it's like that's the
Yes.
only
Yes.
book that you read. So I think it's already
Yeah.
very impactful that you, and especially because you have social media pages, you express yourself, you try to show the world your personal perspective as well. You
Hmm.
just by doing that, even in this interview, you're already showing many people just that different way to be spiritual, or just to
Yes.
have
Or
different
view it.
backgrounds
Hmm.
that are
Yeah, because
connected to the place of origin. That was my final
some
point as
people.
well.
Hmm. I was gonna say like some people, they, whether they're scholars or not, like they can be a little stubborn on thinking like, oh, it's just about a book. And those people are not the ones I like to learn from or mingle with. And my family was never really like that. Although, like, us, when it comes to Egypt, or even like the Sudan, which is like right under Egypt, and I have like roots there as well, because it used to be the
Oh,
same like entire country. But yeah, although now it's mainly Muslim currently, like the main faith is Muslim practices. It's not just like, oh, someone opens the book and that's what it is. No, like you see all the prior, or the
yeah.
the culture blends with it, the culture blends heavily, and there's a lot of practices, a lot that people practice today over there that actually were things that they used to practice in ancient Egypt, pharaohs and all of that. It's the same. It's just people over there, it's normal for them. A tourist
True.
or a scholar that visits may think it's interesting, but to them it's like, they still do a lot of the same things. It's just normal.
Yeah, and that's coming to my awareness that that's already something very different, because people like over here we have no practices. My family didn't teach me any practices. You know what I'm saying? And people think that over here, people think that's normal to have no special practices that your family brought from previous generations, and over there
Mm-hmm.
it's to have those practices. So it's
Yes,
already
yes, yes.
completely different worlds
It's
and
normal, but
super.
I'm gonna be honest with you. Like it's as let's say like in the West, so America, Canada, maybe a little bit of Europe. It some countries are losing it more, but it's unfortunate. But the loss of identity is
Yeah,
starting to cripple on like the rest of the world, not to the same rate, and not like it's like barely starting, meaning a lot of
yeah,
the people want to be so westernized. They want to
true.
they you know they look down on all these practices, and the newer generations, also because of social media, are now thinking that, oh, let's not learn these things, and oh, it's very like backwards. So that's a little scary, especially for me, because having like my feet in two different places,
Mhm.
at least like even here in Montreal, like I grew up here mainly, but when I go there, I know it feels like home. I can relate to both, but when I go there, I'm like, okay, it's in its integrity. But now when I go, it's like, oh no, I don't like to see this change. I don't like to see
Yeah,
this, because it's changes that are not like natural. It's just like, for, as I said earlier, tourism or things that are not authentic. And I'm like, no, like these are actually great
yeah,
plans or great practices. People would pay so much to learn. So
true,
that's what
true.
I don't like.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
So I think
but
we got pretty much a clear understanding of just how different and perhaps more meaningful people are connected to their own world, right? And I
very.
think it's a lesson and something that perhaps you mentioned social media, and perhaps social media can even help. Like for example, on TikTok, we can trust much, but at least they be. I don't even have TikTok. It's just sometimes I saw
I
people
don't either.
sharing and stuff like that. That at least some people, they might be even talking about the wrong story, right? They might be completely telling the wrong story about Egypt, but at least they are showing interests in
Hmm.
doing something different than that this system has to offer. And that for me it's already
Yeah.
a good step. Oh, this
Hmm.
system do anything in here. It's just white, boring, very. How do you say when you clean all the germs and bacteria?
Oh,
All
like
sterile. Yeah,
sterilized.
yeah,
Yeah.
you know
It's
what
the
I
same
mean?
here in Montreal. I feel you. Yeah, it lacks identity, colors,
True.
flavor.
And in the other hand, I think actually Portugal it's kind of benefiting from that because Portugal always have a very intense culture, but it couldn't relate with the world. I don't know how. Portugal was always
Mhm.
very individual and unique, in its own way. And now with this globalization, it's kind of a balance where we can open more to the world.
Mhm.
It's very hard for us to lose our identity because we are kind of stubborn as a people. And Portuguese people also have difficulties to advance and change. So
Mhm.
that
Mhm.
might be bad in the past, but right now that everything is changing so fast and sometimes with no reason, the stubbornness and
Exactly.
slow down of Portuguese people can actually balance that because we're always about the
Mm.
roots, about home, comfort, food, you know,
Yeah. Hmm.
working all
There
year
are
in
great
France,
things.
and they always come back in the summer. Always, always, they always come back.
I think like there are great things that should be defended by being stubborn, and I think stubbornness has a great role, because if everything's too loose, everything goes. But at the same time, I agree with you. There are things that could be beneficial, and will not make it so the country or the people lose their identity. But we have to be selective about that. We can't just be like, okay, let's not be stubborn and everything goes. I have a question. So
Go.
Well, one of my questions had to do with Portugal,
All
since
right.
you're based in your Portuguese. Um, I was wondering, what is the astrology scene in Portugal, at least from what you know? And the reason I'm asking is because, for instance, me, even though in like a lot of the monotheistic religions, they see
Mhm.
astrology as like evil, and even like in Islam itself, it's interesting because a lot of the people who are like super like by the book, they may say, oh,
Yeah.
astrology is like forbidden by God, blah blah
Yeah.
blah. It's a sin. Yet they'll speak about the stars so much, and I think people interpret it the wrong way, because in Arabian and North African and just African culture, to be fair with you, to be honest, like astrology is huge, and even before like religions, astrology was a thing. And even me growing up, my parents would bring it up a lot, astrology and even everything in of the unseen. Yeah, so I was wondering, what is it like in Portugal? Maybe you may say from a modern way, because now it's trendy, maybe it's a thing over there, or was it
Mm,
already like a thing?
not yet. Not yet. Like I have two, for an example, I have two IG pages. I have my Portuguese page
Hmm.
and I have my English page, and it's completely different. Like on my
Hmm.
Portuguese page, there is no content about astrology, spirituality. No, it's just very basic, very very bland. No, no offense to any Portuguese people that might know me and watching right now, but it's the truth. It's the truth. Okay,
Hmm.
it's just
Is it
there
true?
is no type of content. It's not good or bad. It's just
They're
not
not
there.
interested.
Okay,
Mm.
then on my English account, it's that people share, like you share things about history, science, astrology, things like that, right? So that's already a showing. And when I interact with people here in Portugal, especially my age, like they don't talk about astrology. They kind of reject when I try to talk about it. They kind of reject, and then they switch up to, oh, I just bought this very not expensive beef at the supermarket. It was in promotion, so cool, you know. And I'm like, I'm trying to because like they be coming up with some problems, or I was sleeping bad and shit like that. And I'm like, oh, that's because of this and because of that. And they be like, yeah, yeah. They kind of ignore it. They don't even try to relate
They
with
don't
it.
listen. They're not in tune, really.
No. Yeah, so it's pretty
And would
much
you say that?
in my
Oh, my bad.
surroundings.
I was gonna.
No problem, no problem. In my surroundings, the astrology
No, go
scene
ahead.
no existent. In my surroundings, it does not exist, right? But it's
Mm.
starting to brew in the big cities like Lisbon and Porto. Or I'm the main agent over here. I'm the one bringing the change.
Yeah,
I also have a
yeah.
YouTube
You.
channel where I speak about spiritual stuff in Portuguese. So perhaps that will be one doorway to make people my age, because like people of my generation, we have a lot of power to change the world. Like I have an Aquarius stellium, for an example. There is a lot of people my age that has an Aquarius stellium and Saturn in Aries. So my generation has the power to change this country and to change the world as well. But they kind of be afraid of that, or they kind of don't want to take that responsibility, so they end up opposing
Hmm.
me. And even when I'm just
Yeah.
like somebody's interested and I'm speaking with them about astrology, somebody else comes into the conversation and be like, "Oh, you're talking about this, or what you talking about?" Something like that. But
I know
I
all
had
about it.
uh,
So
you,
annoying.
you also
It's
experience kind of
annoying. I started really young in these topics, like at 7 or 8 years old. I would like speak to my mom about secret societies and changes that need to be
yeah,
made. And in my head
yeah,
it was normal. And now I'm 28 and I'm like, oh, okay, not everybody has that type of
yeah.
brain.
Not
And
everybody is.
now I'm like on the sciencey type of, yeah, I'm like, okay, like there are different types of brain and people develop in different things. And and it also relates to astrology. Like as an Aquarius, we're interested in these things. Jump on board, or at least, like, I'm not saying be me, but listen and actually care, and then see where you can position yourself. But it's like
That's,
in and out, you
yeah, yeah,
know. And I was also regarding my question. So you're saying the people more like, younger,
yeah.
they're more into like regular life normies, probably social
Yes.
media, like, the young life. But have you ever had the
Not even into
conversation with older
a
people,
lot of
maybe?
people my age are not even into gaming, which is a normal thing in the world,
Mm-hmm,
or
mm-hmm.
a lot of people my age are just ending up on that work routine, that job routine
Yeah,
that their
yeah,
parents, you know, and that's actually kind of a bit sad for me to see people of my generation with all that power to be themselves and change the world just ending up, and they come to me and say, I hate my fucking job, blah blah blah, and I'm
yeah.
like,
And
oh
they're
yeah,
young.
yeah, be a bit more creative. Do you have any creative outlet? And they be like, I wanted to try this but that, and
But you have to, like, I mean, we both know that it's possible, but the agenda against being creative and being outspoken is so strong, and they're painting free thinkers now as like weirdos, and with the whole
true.
censoring. And a few years ago it was maybe a thing, like, oh, you can make a lot of money being artistic, doing your thing. And now it's like, okay, but you have to do it within the parameter we give you,
Yeah,
like the blueprint. If you step outside of this, forget it, you're canceled. And maybe that's why people, a lot of the young people, like all of this, whether you agree or not agree, it it kind of like trash. It's like trash in your brain, and it's like subconscious now. It controls what you think you can do and cannot do. It controls like everything. But
I think
you know
it's not just
go ahead, go
it's
ahead.
not controlling. It's more like it doesn't give you space. Because
Mm,
nobody can really control you. It's like there is not enough space for you to feel free or to make the right decision. But I totally agree with you. It's like
right.
trash. And then instead of your subconscious being processed, being thinking about your next painting, your next video, your next music,
That's
it's about,
true.
oh, I have to please my boss, or I have to please my father, or I have to do it. It's just there is not enough time and space to think about so much things, which includes their
Time and
own,
space, yes.
yeah, individuality, and whatever social media, news, football, and things like that. Because I also watch football. I'm also into those things in the trends, but way less,
Yeah.
like 10%,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
not even. You know,
Yeah, as an Aquarius, I'm sure, like, you keep like track of what's going on. You may enjoy culture, obviously, but you know where you stand, and like, wait,
yeah,
like, you still have your, you know. But I was
yeah.
gonna
Go ahead.
ask if you actually, if you say that right now astrology in Portugal is not really like a thing, but um and it depends, like, of your, it depends about your upbringing and everything. But have you ever maybe
True.
had the conversation with older people, or maybe someone in your family was into it, or like, oh, it
No,
used to be a tradition? Nothing, nothing at all.
no.
That's interesting.
I was the one bringing that new knowledge to them or back to them. You know.
Mm. Because I'm sure it is a thing. Because Spain and Portugal and the Moors and all of that, like,
Yeah.
it's a long time ago, but there's something about these lands that would be different than, like, let's say Iceland or Britain.
Definitely.
I know you guys have it, but you're probably like expressing that it's been like the agenda to like remove it has been
Yes.
successful
Yes. Yeah. There is
in
one great
culture.
example, which is in school. There is this very famous Portuguese writer and poet called Fernando Pessoa, and
Mm-hmm.
he was a mason. He said it in its own books, and he was an astrologer as well. And he openly said that in some of his books. But in school, they never told us he was an astrologer. Never.
Mm.
somebody my age knows,
They're
no,
gonna hide that, you know.
what? Sorry.
I said that it's. I just laugh because it's the same thing over and over. Like they keep hiding little things, and it's like they think they're slick. But go ahead, my bad. I'm just
No, it's
interested.
like to show that like they openly remove the fact that somebody was into astrology or somebody was out of the Christian church idea, you know.
Mm, mm-hmm.
They don't be like, oh, he was a part of the church, but they also don't say he was on his own stuff, he was on his own understandings. They also don't say
Exactly.
that he was just a writer, you know. He's just writing about his, because he smoked a lot of opium and he drank some wine, and he was like, oh, he was just smoking or drinking. You know, he was not spiritual. Nah, 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 nah. That doesn't. What is that spirituality? We don't know what that is. You know.
Especially if he has great work, they will like do an extra effort to deny anything spiritual about it, or like free thinking about it, because they don't want people to be inspired and follow and ask, oh well, if this genius or whatever like was into these
Genius.
things, let
Yes.
me like look into them. No, we don't want that. So we'll still steal the
Yeah.
intellectual
Yeah.
appropriate his or her work and like be proud, but only when it fits our agenda, which is like the biggest,
Infinitely.
the
to finally answer your question, in my perspective, the astrological scene in Portugal is not existent, but it has huge potential. You know, every time I think about making an astrology video in Portuguese, I feel very motivated, because I know that if somebody picks that spark, it's very easy to lit up a huge fire. You know, because I was
Mhm,
introduced to astrology by a friend of mine's, which I'm not in contact anymore, but somebody in my surroundings made me more aware of astrology. So that's already indicative of, hey, there is opportunities, there is doorways over here to expand on this subject. And as I said before, when we were talking about Egypt, Portugal is always have been very unique, you know. And
mhm,
as you said, with the Moors and the Muslim religion, there is a lot of spiritual content here ready to be rediscovered and expanded on, you know.
mhm. Yeah.
It's just, especially if people my age start to pick up on that subject, I think people will just overall accept it very easily with little hate, little opposition, you know.
That's a huge piece of information that they wouldn't be like opposing it so much. But I would doubt that from Portuguese people. Like that's not how I view them. I view them open, and that, as you're saying, like I feel like all the history and like what happened in the past is still ingrained. It's just that everything's like um masqueraded, like hidden, but the essence is still there, the energy.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying, if like me or somebody like doing what I'm doing, if we can lighten up that spark again, I think it will be very easy to people come back to their own to their own understanding of astrology and spirituality, you know. I really feel
Yeah.
it's easier here. It's easier to access that type of information here, you know.
Well, that's great.
Yeah.
um it's hopeful.
Yeah, it's hopeful. Yeah, it's Portugal. It's a very hopeful place. Even people that come from other countries that are more like more white and bland,
Yeah,
they
yeah.
many times they gain another will of to live here in Portugal because it's so vibrant and hot. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's
Fun
pretty cool.
fact, one of my friends is in Portugal right now. It's so funny, but yeah,
Nice
it's
synchronicity. It's being recharged. It's being recharged for
mm,
sure. So
yes.
let's move to the next question, if you don't mind. You want
No,
to maybe expand a little bit, know a bit more about Portugal's spiritual scene and things like that? No?
no. I mean, I'm sure. I don't. My other questions are not related to Portugal per se, but
Okay.
I'm highly interested on knowing more because I don't have anyone like you. I never had anyone like based in Portugal that is a local who actually can give me real insight. Not the
True.
media. So
Yeah.
I love them.
All right. All right. Okay, so my next question is usually the question that I usually start the interviews with. And what is the question is what is your three big alignments, your trinity, your sun, your moon, and your rising, and give us a little bit of your experience, how it is experiencing through those alignments.
Great question. Okay, so guys, I'm an Aquarius sun. I have a Capricorn moon, so double
Ooh,
Saturn.
Saturn, yeah.
And my rising or ascendant is in Leo. Yeah. So I definitely I think in my late teens when I really started to be more aware of what astrology really was, everything started to make sense in terms of like, oh, I'm in Aquarius. As I said earlier, I was always interested in, like brain stuff, science stuff, like how
Great,
things work.
great.
So logic,
Yeah,
yeah, logic stuff, but also the occult, and asking my mom about secret societies, like on a random day at the grocery store. I always say this story, and thinking
yeah,
that everybody, because at a young age you do question a lot. Like I
true.
would think, regardless of your background, like, oh, what is this? Why do we do this? Where does the moon come from? Everything and anything, and religion and the system. But I was going heavy on it, and now I know, okay, like my alignments actually make sense.
I
And
relate to
I
that as well.
do like, yes, I do relate to that a lot. And I do feel like a Capricorn a lot. But I feel like it's not an issue, but sometimes I may have difficulty sometimes separating, okay, that's my sun, that's my moon, because they're already so similar.
All right.
Aquarius already has some Saturn,
True.
but I'm more of a free spirit than what you would think a Capricorn in a caricature would look like,
Yeah,
more
true.
like squarish type person. I'm way more like rebellious in a way. That's, yeah, my rebellious
So
side
you're in
is like,
a
yeah. And my son, I mean, my son, my ascendant is in Leo. So the way I see it is like I do attract attention, but not like crazy, like it's not like crazy, like, oh, everybody. No, and I just think as I got more in tune with myself on a physical level, emotional, spiritual, everything level, and even like identity, who I am, what I stand for. Um, you walk with more. You walk in your truth, and that
yeah,
is when you will attract great energy and bad energy, or like greater
true.
spirits or lower spirits, because you shine more, and when you shine more,
Yeah.
even
Or not
bugs
can
are
find
attracted to that,
what
you know um, but I think that's the Leo part of it in the rising, because I do not feel like I do have desires and wants, and I want people like to listen to what I have to say, obviously, but not to be like, oh, her, not at all. I could care, so like I don't care about that, and if I did, I would like already had sold my soul type thing, like
yeah.
um like just partake in all these
Mhm.
like demonic stuff to get attention. But I'd be
Yeah.
walking sometimes where I'd be feeling like I'm getting attention. I don't know where it's coming from, or people stare a lot. I could be dressed like a hobo and like not feel my best, feel like very low. And spirits, like, because people are not just their flesh, obviously, and some people are soulless, but the spirits recognize the spirits. So whether they're aware or not, they they be staring, and it's not always positive. Sometimes it's just like
True.
you can tell like you're bothering them, but you don't know why, because you didn't do nothing, you're in your lane, something's going on. And I I think I relate that to being obviously I don't like to say awakened, but let's just use the word like more of an awakened
More
spirit.
aware.
But
Aware.
yeah, more and the Leo rising definitely.
True.
But I saw something recently said like how you're if you're a Leo sun, you'll do things naturally that attract attention. If you're a Leo moon, you deeply internally like desire attention. And if you're a Leo rising, you just effortlessly sometimes attract attention, whether you want it or not. So I was like, okay, um, obviously it's like a summary, but yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's how it affected me. But
Okay.
I'm still struggling a little bit because if I'm getting attention, I'm like, okay, well, why aren't you guys listening to the real it? Like how do I
Yeah.
manipulate that to direct it for, art stuff, finances, having bigger platforms, influencing
Yeah.
more people into, having better lives. But, it's coming. It's
Yeah.
coming.
True. And do you have any advice for people that might have the same struggles or the same alignments that you have?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, okay. I mean, yeah, don't, because those are advice I give to myself too. Like, just don't like feel bad for being naturally a rebel and like having a voice. And I think it may be a little bit harder for women because when you're a woman and you're into all these things and have more of masculine, like air, earth, left brain alignments, you
Yeah.
you may be seen as like, oh, difficult or all of that, or we don't like women who speak on certain topics. But guess what? I can speak on certain topics and like being very real, very honest, very true,
Yeah.
and like authentic, like integrity. You can't tell me nothing because every day I go to bed proud of. But then it's like they'll make you feel like, no, being a woman, you have to always shut up and like look cute. But guess what? A lot of these women who do that, they don't necessarily have thoughts, or they could be doing like bad things, and so what it if you're a woman and you have the same alignment, like don't feel sorry. Like you have to work more on your boundaries and like
True.
be unapologetic. The like being unapologetic and like living in your truth, like don't lie, be honest, like that has always
Be
worked for me.
straight.
You'll be
Be more
seen as
straight.
harsh, yeah, or difficult to deal with, but it's not true. And also boundaries, because the Aquarius side is just such a giver and so
Yeah. True.
generous, and like, well, I don't want to say like waste, but I'll spend hours and hours and hours and hours like with people, and at the end, for the sake of the collective, I
Yeah.
gave so much energy and I'm not getting paid, and I don't want to be paid.
True.
But at the end, I'm like, man, rent needs to be paid, food,
True.
this. I'm like, I could have charged, but it doesn't sit well with me. So boundaries,
True.
and it's okay to take your space.
That's a lesson that I'm learning right now on this lifetime because I have the Aquarius Sun and the Taurus Moon. So I'm every
Earth
day I'm learning
and
how
air, yeah.
to not give too much, but get paid, get that fixed stability while being unique, rebellious, But that's a square, I kind of relate with you. It's a bit of more a
Yeah.
fixed, it's more a fixed square, so it might be more rough or not like a big
Mm,
ass punch in the face, but it's still kind of in the same ways, But then I'm also very
mhm.
sturdy because of that same fixed energy. So it sometimes it seems more than what it actually is. Let me tell you, especially that
Yeah.
Taurus moon, overreacting, over exalting to every little thing, But it's exactly, and I think, wait, because you said something that you said it was you learning for yourself, but I think it's actually a lesson for the whole world, which was not feel bad for having your own voice. I think, yeah,
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
that.
That, yeah, that, yeah.
Yeah, almost everybody don't have their own voice. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying?
You're right. Mm-hmm.
So that's a lesson for everybody. Don't be afraid. Like you can't, because if you're afraid of having your own voice, there is no reason to live. There is no reason
That's true.
to really exist. Okay?
Right. Especially don't make yourself small because sometimes you're like, okay, I'm unapologetic, and then like you get backlash. Or but sometimes guess what? The backlash is just a bunch of people wishing they could even express themselves on
True,
these topics
true,
that are challenging out loud. So it's like
but they
they
choose
actually are
they
like
can't.
admiring. Huh?
And
Sorry.
those people, like, they want to talk about those topics, but they feel a certain way, and then they see you
Yes.
like, but we feel that way as well. We just don't give a fuck about it,
Hmm.
and we still do it. You know,
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
that's the thing.
That's it.
And you also see that sometimes you receive kind of bad attention when you go walk outside. That's the same thing.
Sometimes.
Their spirit is seeing your spirit on a high horse, and they be like, I want to be there as well, but they don't know the travels and the efforts that you did to put yourself over there. So they start hating.
Exactly.
You know, it's just
Exactly.
they need to expand a little bit. You know
That's
what I'm
it.
saying?
You
So that's
are
what.
so
Yeah.
right.
Thank you. Thank you. Next question, please.
Okay. So my third question will be, so okay, I don't know how to put it, but I'm gonna try. So you know how
Okay.
there's, 12 zodiac signs, and we all on a, you know, don't think of like the other planets, but on a sun sign level, we all have our characteristics and we kind of complete each other.
Yeah.
Um, so on your, well, what do you think? You may not have one perspective, but my question would be, so you think we have different or specific roles in society or like on
Yes.
this earth? And
If
what would be like the goal of us all like coming into different like 12 different signs? What
yeah.
would be the end goal of that? And also, are you one of them who may believe in or know or uh push the idea that like we I I don't want to say believe. Let me, what do you
Yeah.
think about the theory that we some people would say you reincarnate but in a different zodiac sign every
Okay.
lifetime? So
Okay. Okay.
so
Okay.
first
So
question more like
all right.
about the roles and
Yeah.
what would
Yeah.
the end goal be,
Okay.
and the
So
second one.
about,
Wait.
about the roles, I think that's true, and even the Masons and certain organizations, they do that. They reunite in a wheel, in a zodiac wheel, and they place the sun sign Aries over there. They place the Taurus sun sign over there. They place the Gemini. They do that. And if they want to do a more internal spell, they use that with the moon signs, or at least that's how I will do it, because it makes a
Mm-hmm.
lot of sense, you know and then we infinitely have these roles in society, and you were asking about the goal, or why do we come in 12, or right. Let me see
Yeah,
if I.
well, not necessarily about the number 12, but like what would be the goal at, like if we all like, well, obviously everybody has like qualities and weaknesses, but what would be the goal of us coming in like separate signs, I
Yeah.
guess, and what like the end goal of all of that?
The thing
Yeah.
is, there is no goal. That's already we already that's already the goal. We come in different ways because that's our objective, to be unique and individual. And then those ways is just for us to help us understand, oh, that person is more inclined to do those things. Oh, it's like when you go to the mountain, it's going to be cold, so you need to wear a jacket. It's more to help you go through this experience in your own way. That it's no goal, it's just how we come like that, because we're unique and individual, you know and but in the end of the day, we still share some traits, right? And when we organize those traits, it's easier to relate with the world, to relate ourselves, to know where the best relationships are or not. So but you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
we
yeah, yeah.
already think, and this is the goal, this is the result, this is the consequence. You know what I'm saying?
So what if I would say, why don't we come already like um all, I don't want to say all the same because to me it wouldn't be interesting, but why aren't we all like just kind of the same, you know?
Because
Um
we already were.
but once it,
That's my point. We already were. Like cats right now, they share an oversoul. If we are in human bodies right now, means we are more wise. We experience more.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Once
mm-hmm,
upon there was way more. Maybe it was just four signs, because it was we were way less unique. We were way less different.
mm,
As we gain more awareness and we can be more ourselves without feel bad, like we were saying on our last question, the more we can do that, you can see we can do that in even more different ways. And then we'll be like, right
like
now,
sub layers.
there is these ways. But then we evolve, oh, there is more ways right now. But we still share some traits that let's call this that. So it's better to organize and experience. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Yes. And when it comes to some people saying like you reincarnate, well, first of all, just reincarnating is not the it's not even viewed the same by so many people. Some people see it as you come in an animal, you come in a tree. Some people are like, no, it's just a human body. Like, I don't know, like I wasn't there, but I do be like I'm open and I do study like different ways. Um, but if do we come in different zodiac signs and
Yes.
in a way where it's like, okay, let's say I'm a Pisces, so next time I may be an Aries again, or maybe like after Pisces you're
I
done, or like you're
see.
going on the other side, going from Pisces to
Yeah.
Aquarius, or
Okay.
what's your take on that? How
It's not
what
in
do you
that
have to
way.
say about this?
It's not like linear. Oh, I'm a Pisces now. Next, I'm an Aries, and you don't necessarily need to come back here, right?
Mm-hmm.
You maybe and okay. Let me answer that in
No, go
totality.
ahead.
So reincarnation in itself, it can be reincarnation, and re means repetition. So doing it again.
Yes.
It can be incarnation. It's always both, because as a spirit you want to be something, you want to experience, you want to be in something. So that's always the goal, to be in something, right? So and the thing is, do you create a new thing or you repeat? If you create a
Mm-hmm.
new way,
Yes.
incarnation. If you repeat, reincarnation. And then the thing is, the physical form might be different, but you still reincarnating, because you can come as a tree again. Imagine a person right now can die and be a tree again. It can be an animal, it can be a stone, it can be a crystal and gem. It depends on how much of its awareness expanded or contracted. If they actually didn't learn anything new, if they were just repeating, they're going to reincarnate, and they're going to lose the ability to make this body again. They will forget how to do this, because this is too advanced. This
Mm.
is much
Yeah.
complex.
Yeah.
In a, or in a tree. Or if you expand your awareness and you do something new, you learn how to speak different languages, you can do better things faster. You don't even need to come here as a human, you go straight to a more expanded place. And
Mm-hmm.
the thing is, some people do come back as a different zodiac sign, because they still have to learn how to be a human in a different way. They were too focused
Mm.
in one way, how to be here. But in one lifetime, you can learn how to be all the ways. Like when
That's
it's full
true.
moon, I'm very grateful for the full moons, because it makes me understand how is it to be a Pisces. When it's full moon in Pisces, sometimes I feel like a Pisces. I'm like, oh, I'm feeling so much. Oh, that's, oh
Wow.
man, Pisces feel
Yes.
like. So perhaps I don't need to come back as a Pisces next lifetime, because every Pisces full moon, I feel like not
You're
literally,
doing
okay,
the work. You're
Pisces,
doing the
definitely,
work. Like you're trying at least, you're
yeah,
actively working on comprehending more and being more in tune, receiving information
true.
to okay, yeah. Yeah, that's
That's how
great. Thank you
that's
for
how
giving your
why
take.
being stuck in the same place for a long time. You just open yourself for different perspectives in the same world that you are in, and then you don't need to come back here again. You learn
Mm-hmm.
everything and to the next one. You know,
Yes.
was it
Okay,
clear or
okay. Yes, very
clear? Or,
clear.
okay,
I think those responses were very, very clear.
okay.
Yeah.
Even about
I have a
zodiac
third question, but we can I can, have you ask me one maybe first. Or no, you just
I
asked me. Okay. Okay, okay.
no, no, no.
All
I was
right.
asking
So,
if it was clear
I'll go
when we
ahead.
were talking about the zodiac signs, why we come in different ways. Eh, eh, was I clear about that as well to you?
Um in different like yeah, to like basically experience life, this life, but in a different with a different perspective as a human,
Yeah,
but you don't have to come back.
we are more unique. There is more uniqueness in this realm. That's why there is more traits. You know, basically,
Mm-hmm.
if you go to a lower world, quote unquote, there would be less signs because there is less different traits. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's more like dense and less.
All the
How you were explaining it, I was seeing it like a branch, or like
yeah,
like a family tree, and then it's like, okay, four, and everyone another four, and then at the end there's so many like sub layers of sub layers, so it never ends, it's infinite,
and
like,
the
yeah,
signs we call,
combinations.
the signs, it's, or we call that. So if there is more layers, there is more signs. There is, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's clear the way you said it actually made more sense for me.
Okay,
Okay, I have it. My last question would be,
go ahead.
so I did observe that you have art on your page and, art on the wall
Yeah.
behind you. So I would like to know more. Like, if you can talk to me about your paintings or your journey with art or visual art, and if that is related as well to maybe like astrology, or did it start at the same time? I'm just curious because I'm an artist as well, so I thought it would be interesting.
Go check our pages, y'all. We all watching right now or later. Go check our pages in the description down below. By the way, we have our art over there. Check the links. So my
Yes.
art, as you can see, it is very connected with astrology. Like you can you can see the sun. This is the sun over. Can you see my finger? This is the sun. You know
Let
what I'm
me
saying?
let me check.
This whole column, this whole wall is with planets. Maybe you can see it because of the lights. It's a weird light, but that's the sun, Venus, Mercury. The moon is on top. You guys can't watch, but the moon is on top over there.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? So yes, it's connected with astrology. And over there, this one is my Trinity. I think I can show you guys that. That's actually, let me show you. So this painting over here is my Trinity, is my sun, my moon, and my rising.
Mm.
The spaceship, Aquarius sun, right? Makes sense. Then this floating land is Taurus moon. You know what I'm saying? It's we all in space, but this is very fixed and it's very abundant and stuff like that. And then the little
Mm.
and the details is my Libra rising. You know what I'm saying? And then we have some like spiritual principles. I have this painting which is like it's on the wall. Maybe I can no, it can perturb the setup, but it's like it's
It's
a red
okay.
circle, and a orange circle coming together, and they create a third yellow circle, and I call that 1 + 1 is
Mm.
3 because one space plus another space or one awareness and another awareness creates something new. Okay, and
That's true.
it's basically I always I have a painting which is tarot card, which is representing how we create tarot cards as well. You know what I'm saying? I have this painting over there which is like the waterfall, which is like we have access, all of us have access to the same water, and then in one side you have the free side, everybody goes there, and anytime, and in the other side there is a line and order and structure, so it's slower to get your water and things like that, you know what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
it is very backed and supported by my spirituality and my spiritual belief systems.
Yeah.
Yes, that's true. And
Okay, great. So, oh, go ahead.
perhaps, sorry. Go ahead,
No,
go
I
ahead.
was just saying, so the way I see it is that your art is actually a representation and of like what you stand for and like how
Yes.
you view things or like know things. So you just draw it like represent um things we know or in a more like dense form, which would be like art, obviously visual art,
True.
which is a
Yes, yeah.
language too. So you're still communicating information.
And if you want to know more about it, I have some videos on this YouTube channel, which is me talking about a certain specific painting. So if you or anybody
Ooh,
can go into my YouTube channel and check that
yeah.
out. Which I do what I basically did here right now, but about other paintings that I have. And about how I started into it. So actually, I remember a very long time ago a friend of mine saying that I look like an artist, but I never went
Mm.
into that because I was very logical, very scientist. I wanted to either go into school or sports, look smart, and things like that. But then I understood, I realized, bro, that ain't shit. I ain't getting anything from here. I'm
Yeah.
not getting
Mm.
from it. This is boring. I'm sure I already did that in my past lives. I was already a big ass teacher or a priest or whatever. I was just repeating some shit, and I don't like that. I was
Wow, you just sparked something. Yeah, like when things may not be working, even though like you feel like you know the topic or it's you, it may be because you've been on that road before now. Okay, sorry, I just thought it was
no, no,
interesting,
no
but
problem, no problem.
no, go ahead.
But
It just yeah made something
but
clear for me.
then, like, I usually say that I didn't have a spiritual awakening. I had an emotional awakening, because I have Aquarius Sun, Aquarius Stellium. I have a lot of air energy, so I was always a bit more detached from my emotions and feelings, or no, because of my Taurus moon I was very attached. I was just not understanding
Mm,
it. It was in
I
conflict,
see.
but then I had an emotional awakening, and when I started to hang out more with Miss Tario, which is my current partner, she's a very gifted painter as well, and she was like, "Don't you want to give it a try?" Because I'm sure she was feeling that I had a connection with that language, like you said, and she was
Mm-hmm.
already in that space, and she was like, "Hey, come here a little bit, but you do it, you know, you do it, you paint." And then I start painting it, and then I just like, oh, this is easy, you know. I still struggle with giving shape and form because it's my North Node in Virgo in my 12th house. Sometimes I want to create a certain shape and form and I can't, and I get really frustrated. But that's very fun. In the end of the day, that just gets me more motivated to come back and do more paintings. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's how it started. I already had that connection, but I was kind of stubborn, and then it was
Mm-hmm.
facilitated, and then I discovered, yeah, this is something that I really want to do. You know what I'm saying?
Wow, thank you for explaining the journey and everything. Um, I think it's great because you didn't start doing it and then you kind of I would assume fell in love with it um later in life and you're still doing it. A lot of people do not want like they try things but they're like, "Oh, that's not me," or "I'm not sure." And then
Yeah, that's
they're
true.
more reserved and they don't want to push it and you're
Yeah.
like, "Nah, look at my stuff.
No,
Like
yeah,
I'm
I
and
need to push it.
I'm
I need
learning,
to,
I'm doing stuff."
you know,
That is
because
great.
this came in as like when I'm frustrated with the logicality and with the reality of the world. Just painting is great. I come back and
Create.
like, that's not the only world that exists out there. This world internally is also here, and it's way more. It's not way more. It's just more important. It's just reminding
Mm-hmm.
me I can do things myself. I can do something beautiful right here, right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
So
we're
more questions.
celebrating. Okay, go
Yeah,
ahead.
it is. It is. It really is. Yes, it's a great term. Okay. So let
Mm-hmm.
me.
I'm just one
Yes.
second. Putting my phone on the making sure it's charged. Should be fine. Okay, go ahead.
So my next question to you is, what do you think? What do you think is going to be the next big or popular industry, or like, uh, or a specific branch of industry, like movies or like streaming or music? What you think will be very popular or influential in the recent future?
Oh, okay. I mean, to just logically answer your question and not answering from a emotional perspective, we already see everything going into this whole meta stuff. I don't personally study it, but the whole like they created another world that is kind of fake to mimic
Yeah.
what we already have with astrology, spirits, other realm, frequencies. You know, we already have that. It exists, but they wanted to copy it to access it and also like trick people and stuff, whatever. So I think that's what it is. Merging robotics with biology, merging, not even merging, taking away from the genius that is human and spirit, slowly taking away from that, transferring it into the computer of things, leaving the human more, well, with less awareness. Remember when you were saying reincarnating into like less that,
True.
but
Yeah.
making the
I think
general
yes.
masses, convincing the general masses that this is improvement and empowerment and innovation and elevation, whereas it's degradation.
Yeah.
So you ask what I think, but I don't think I know like that's what's going on. And it's a bittersweet feeling because I'm so not about this. Um,
Yeah. Me neither.
to me, technology is supposed to help and not, technology is supposed to help and serve without degrading our psyche, physical
Replace.
health, mental, emotional.
Yeah, because they want to
Huh?
replace. They
Yeah.
want to replace essential
Peace.
parts of us with technology. But you know something that I've noticed? I've noticed that I think people will not buy it. Like most people are buying it right now, going into it, but people are not enjoying it. You know, people are kind of people are understanding that that's like just
What's
a
going
fake
on?
world. I really feel people
I
will be
mean, I
like, nah,
agree. A lot of, hmm, go ahead.
no problem. I really feel like people they go into it, like I said, to try it out to see how it is, but then they don't like it. People,
Hmm.
at least with people that I contact with, and the social media that I contact with, and the videos that I watch and stuff like that, people don't like it. People don't like that metaverse stuff. People find it weird, the robot stuff. People are more interested in
Hmm.
what and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Because
I
you
agree.
know
I
what?
agree.
Oh, okay, you agree? Okay, okay, that's good.
I
That's good.
agree with you. Like,
It sounded you
yeah,
sounded a
like
bit
the,
dark in the way that
uh, I
put it. You know.
agree, but let me explain. So I agree
Okay.
that a lot of people are not enjoying it, are not happy with it, or buying it. Especially I think millennials and going like older.
Yeah.
My only issue is whether we want it or not, like we get older and then they market to the younger generations. So it's easier to mold younger generations into liking or adopting a certain lifestyle, whether it takes a few lifetime or like a few generation or not. It's kind of easier. So that's why I'm like, oh no. But
Oh,
obviously
but
they,
that's okay.
I
That's
think
for a
they
reason.
made the changes. They made the changes way too quick. So a lot of people are like, whoa, this is
Yeah,
abnormal.
that's true. That's very true. That's very true. But
Yeah.
uh, like it's not our business. We that's actually one of their next agendas. The environment stuff, save the next generation. We shouldn't be saving the next generation. We should be saving this generation right now. That's why I'm not so
Hmm.
worried about that dark future they're trying to cast upon us, because I actually believe the younger generations will not be into that as well. The younger generations will
Yeah.
be even smarter than we are. They will
Yeah,
be
they
born
are.
already knowing astrology and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
That's
exaggerating
true.
a little
Hmm.
bit, but, you know, and even if it happens, hopefully I'm in the next world already, so it's cool by me. You know what I'm saying? But I understand you. They're
Yeah,
trying
I
to do it. They are trying very hard. I personally think it will
yes,
not work out.
very.
I think it will not work out. Their plan will not work out. That's what I think.
Yeah, I think they're like their agenda on paper and like on computer is so smart, but when it's time to put it into action, it's not as like viable. Like it's not as
True.
normal so a lot of people are like, oh, weird. And a lot of people with a lot of money, like huge investors, may be investing into these things, but even then I don't necessarily think it's all for their health or future. It's just because it's money, it's business moves,
Yeah.
like, all of us going to space, like things like that. I think it's just because they can,
Yeah.
because they have the money and they can. And also they want to, they're saying, oh, there's too many people on earth, blah blah blah, we want to reduce
True.
or
That's the way.
condensate, I don't know if that's the word, compress,
Compress.
us into, yeah, compress us into all these project in disguise, like basically they're projects in disguise, in these like towers, fancy technological towers, but they're just projects. And
I'd say,
they're having all these people invest in this and like, oh, everything's going to be like robotic, but that's not in our generation. Like it's not going to be right now, there's too much to be
yeah.
learned or
And then,
made. So when you said let's not try to think too much about saving the next generations,
yeah.
I agree, and I don't think you said it from a bad like point of view,
No.
but I because we have to save ourselves, and I think if we actually care a lot about saving ourselves, wow, like,
Yeah.
and then in the meantime we're having children, so they're looking at that and they're like, okay, these are the value, like those are values that are going to be instilled in us, like because we saw our parents, grandparents, friends caring about saving the self. So okay, they learn by example too. But I'm sure some people, like, they don't care. They're like, oh, let's just go crazy, pollute everything, not care about nothing,
Yeah.
and have the next generation like figure it out. So no, I
Yeah.
don't think,
I said
I
it like
think
that.
we care.
Yeah. Yeah. Because we,
Yeah.
like you said, the best way to save the next generation is to save ourselves. And that involves care with our own generation right now. You
Hmm.
don't need to be an activist. You don't need to go and collect 1,000 kilos of plastic out of the sea. But you also, like you said, can just go crazy and don't give a fuck about it as well. But there is
Yeah.
a lot of things coming out right now, or you need to limit your access of traveling to save the next generation. That makes no sense. You know what I'm saying? Things like that.
I
You know?
know. They're spreading weird stuff like, oh, this is more for, this is better for this. But they be doing it. Like, it's just, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's very hypocritical.
Yeah.
And I think, as you said, it starts in the family structure, actually. It starts with the self, obviously, but in a healthy, educated family, and aware family structure. And from there, yeah, we can
I think that's the one
kind
of the
of
most
avoid.
missing things in the world right now. It's that family that they don't need to agree with you, but they support you being yourself. It's like the world is like this, and you gotta be yourself. Because I
Yeah.
think that was a thing in the past. I think families, because we share the same desires, we came all together in this world for a reason, right? You share an household
Definitely.
of people. There is a reason for that. So be like, hey, we kind of like you. I want you to be your goddamn self. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. There's a reason, as you said, like that we're families. There's a reason we came, we grew up with some people.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, you're right. And we're supposed to try to teach them what we can and,
yeah.
you know, be
And the
there.
thing is, the system right now takes that away because the family trusts the school with you as a
Mm,
kid, and they not only that, they see themselves as inferior to the school. Only the
I
school can
know.
teach you that. We can teach you anything, and then that breaks the
That's not
connection. That
true. Yeah, they're giving away their power because they've told some don't even know they're doing that, but they've been told like this is the way to go. Like it's like slavery. It's slavery. It's different types
mental.
of brainwashing is slavery, mind control is slavery.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. I think that's why for me like homeschooling for sure or having like some sort of community homeschooling where like, for instance, I'm not saying that's what it's going to be like, but quote unquote soul groups, things like that, independent.
Okay. So, do you have
Yeah.
more time and energy for some more questions, or are we good for now?
I'm I mean, I'm good. I don't have more to ask. I already asked my three questions. But if there's
Okay.
something, you really want to ask, like go ahead, obviously. Like I'm here. You can ask me anything.
Okay. Okay. I got one final question, which I think it's interesting, and it is: how do you see and feel about personally the I wrote here the axis, but like the relationship, or how the relationship between man and woman. How do you think the world, not in like what it should be, or the right way is, but how you think the world, the system, is trying to make us look, as men look at women, and as women look at men. Because there is certain roles that they are trying to put certain people in. You know what I'm saying? They're
Yep.
trying to make men. They're trying to make women look like men and stuff like that. What do you think?
Yes. Man, this is a topic we would have to like have another live for, but obviously I'll answer. I'm passionate about this because not only am I passionate because like I'm at an age where I really like comprehend things better and I'm not a young teen, like I'm not a teen, like I'm a woman, 28. That's not why I'm so passionate about this topic. It's just I was brought up and raised a certain way, which was more traditional, but very aware of and like gender roles and things like that, and not through violence or forceful like actions, just like it was pure logic, it was pure nature. And I just have like the most admiration for like people who came before me who do things more old school and stuff like that, and not in a way where like a lot of the Western people keep saying like, oh, it's because of the church, it's because of the church, you
Yeah,
had to get married, you had to, it's because of the church, F the church, now we're like liberated. No, because guess what, I wasn't raised in church, and a lot of people, tribes, random like places on this planet, they don't have like religion, and they're doing this like also kind of the same way. It's nature literally.
yeah,
um and logic, and now we live in a extremely perverted world, which this world is trying to this world, or this new perverted world, is trying to infiltrate countries who are not as perverted, like more the eastern countries, but it's more in the west. um and out of that, we've came to a point where right now, as you were saying, like men, they're trying to make women look like men look like women. I have my own like views on this, but I think their agenda is to have more like a more, I don't want to say childless planet, but less create less humans being created.
Yeah, yeah, I
less
see.
people, like less population. That's
True.
already not talking about what they put in air, food, and water and our heads, but just in general, they want to make it so it's not attractive to have
Yeah,
children. So
true, true.
everything is more expensive.
Yeah,
They told women a long time ago with feminism, but now it's even worse. Like, oh, you don't need a man, and
true.
it was more like it was just one group of people. It wasn't everybody. And this group of people, it was more, feminism was started by a lot of lesbians. So I'm not here to like diss lesbians or anything or say like, oh, it's already perverted, but like how 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 many lesbians are there like on the world? Like it's a tiny percentage compared to what men women relationships, and they really pushed their agenda on people who weren't lesbians and said like, oh, come join us. They pushed a lot of families to be broken and have women like become like men in the workforce and not be homemakers. And most people like who have like healthy families come usually from two parent household, and women are great at being homemakers. And as I said, like we have roles, and basically right now they are denaturing us, and they're making us so like distracted and off tune of what is nature, because there are things in us that are natural. Like I don't care which language you speak, if you grew up in the forest, you have natural instincts and awareness, and they're trying to make you so off tune that you're not attracted. Like women are not attracted to men are not attracted to women anymore. You don't want to have children, but you want to use each other to have like all these quote unquote sex rituals or sex magic,
True.
whether you know it or not. Like a lot of people, I'm sorry, I'm going to say it like that, they're using other people's bodies to masturbate
Yeah,
themselves.
true.
And that's not sexual relations. Like that's not what it was supposed, because you're not doing this to
True.
create life, and you're not creating love, or like a household. Like you're just using people. And for me, like I'm against that, but that's just me. Like there's people who are for that, but what's the purpose? You're not creating anything. And energy is energy. So there's like you're using your sexual energies, your root
For
chakra, your
nothing.
sacral chakra. You're doing
That is
something.
true.
It's wasted, and it's teaching people that it's okay to waste that life force.
Use it and
Meanwhile, like we can be
right. Yeah.
raising nations.
True.
And
Right.
they're making women, women are trying to they're telling women you can be a man, take hormones, do this, do that,
Yeah.
man, be women, like. And people think it's cute, but guess what, like, I don't know, I think it's really sad because we're losing. It's not even a conspiracy, everybody knows you
Yeah.
can
It's
control a nation that has weak men. Make the like Men are supposed to, like, be more stronger and like be more affirmative, and
the
and spend time around each other, better each other, be a little bit
yeah.
aggressive. It's normal because you need order. Like Saturn energy is
True.
like it's order. You need order to be hold each other accountable, hold a nation accountable. You need sharp, like, that's what you need. But now they're like, no, remove all of that, make it all chaos. And
Yeah.
we're seeing a lot of chaos.
True.
So I think the agenda is just to like have less children, have people or groups of people, nations, countries, be more manageable, aka like controllable, docile. So you say
Mhm.
yes more. You even
Yeah.
willingly ask to be a slave to
Yeah.
programs you don't even know you're partaking in as a slave, but you are. So it's like, and they're giving like incentives with the media is powerful,
True.
making you believe that you desire this, but truly naturally you do not. And if you were to take to get off like distractions, and a lot of people pills, a lot of things, substances, and just pure and like just clean yourself, like mentally and like physically, you would kind of tune back. And a lot of this would look very disturbing.
True.
So I think men and women need to, you know, be more in tune with themselves, get off the social unless like you're on things that are beneficial so you can feed your mental, your but once again, like don't feed or yourself with other people's thoughts only. You have to question everything. You have to want to learn. You know, you need, as you said earlier, time and space is very important. So that only like follow or like do things that are going to teach you things and challenge you. But get off all the substances. You don't need all of that. Even like, to be honest with you, like all those psychedelics, all of that, you don't need all of that. You can come to all these realizations yourself. Just sit
Yeah.
outside, remove all the junk from your life, people, things, a bad job, like
Food.
care, like
Yeah.
even spending too much. Get play with children, you know, like play in the I don't know, plant some food, like touch the dirt, go outside, be in the sun. You just recalibrate, you know, and time and space once again. And you know, you have to just ask yourself, what am I doing, and also what's the purpose of this? I cannot
Super.
believe that people are
Yeah.
saying, oh, my purpose is just, oh, making money, getting all these cars. Okay, but for what? Are you
Yeah.
really happy at the end of the day? And not happy like on the substances. Remove your drugs, you remove your antidepressant, remove like everything, and all like the things that are not important. And now I'm wondering if you're going to bed like truly happy. And that's like the also quick fixes don't work. And men and women, like they need each other. We make each other
Yes.
better. Like great nations were built with men and women,
Great
and now
nations.
we're
Yeah.
destroying each other a lot. And I
True.
think we're destroying each other a lot because they have turned us against each other. We hate each other, you know, not me, but you know, like
Me.
and the more you harm a man or a woman, like on a more systematic level, um the more like they're wounded and they will hurt other people, you know. So we have to heal each other at the same time. So as once again, it starts with how you're raising your children or your siblings, and try to be a walking example, and remember that we need each other, and it's only nature to like want to work together.
True.
All the rest is like this fake stuff
We
that
all.
don't even work in nature. Like I've never seen just, you know, a group of female cats rejecting like male cats, being like, you know, like just yeah. And if someone is younger watching this, and you guys are more into like this new stuff, or like what is a woman, what is a man, blah blah blah, like don't listen to everything you hear and like be convinced. Like you know, don't just buy into anything and everything because someone at your school is doing something. Or no, like there's more. Like there may be a popular group running things right now, but that's
True.
so not the the rest of the planet. And like that's why like traveling more, speaking to more people, reading more, like learning more is important, and going outside, like observing. Once again, all of this comes back to being aware. That's how you
Where?
receive information.
Main
But
thing that aware.
I hope it makes sense. I know I went on the tangent, but it's
It's
really
okay.
important. And you know, not everybody needs to have children, but like it should, to me, I think it should be like an important goal. And like um men shouldn't be ashamed for being men, and women shouldn't be ashamed to want to be like homemakers, and also like explore, start things, being creative, and we make great things together. And um everybody I know that has children or has had a successful like relationship, female, male, female, they always say like I'm the proudest, like I'm proud of my career, I'm proud of like helping people, even women healers. But nothing, I'm there's nothing more I'm proud of than I have like being someone that has had the gift of making a family, you know,
True.
and raising humans and teaching and transferring. So yeah, I would say think again and don't believe the hype. If it shines too much, it's not
Yeah,
real.
it's not gold, it's
Yeah.
some pyrite. Yeah,
Exactly. Pyrite crystal talk. Hey, fool's gold. Yeah.
it's just to kind of confirm what you're saying about how natural those roles are. There is, I was watching television by random, um, in the other day, and on the Discovery Channel there was this program which was Naked and Afraid. I don't know if you know. I don't know if you know about it. It's like basically they take
Mm,
one girl, and they send them to the wilderness naked with just some tools, and
I
they have to
heard
survive.
about that.
And in that specific episode, that's the only one I saw. I was watching it by random, but I got interested. And then you can clearly see the role of the man and the role of the woman. The man was building stuff, but he was very emotionally weak. And the woman was not physically strong, but she was emotionally strong. The man wanted to give up, and she was like, nah, nah. And then the man got some energy back again. You know what I'm saying?
From
And the
that.
man suffering a
Mm.
lot from the heat, and the woman was suffering a lot from the cold. And at night they would sleep together to balance that, and the woman would work more on the sun because she could tolerate that, and the man was more fucked up in the sun. And in that episode the man gave up, and the woman was there alone for 11 days. Real shit, you know
Wow. Yep,
yeah,
exactly. Like men are builders. They're great when you also give them tasks or like require them, like help them, like guide them. Like
hate
they do
them.
provide, and people are like, oh, girls only want money. There are like good women here, and they don't just want money. It's more like, or that we're attracted to money. No, 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 because a lot of us women are in tune, and it's not about the money. It's the quality that makes a man able
Yeah,
to go get resources. So I don't
not just
care that right now you have money. It's more
yeah,
what makes it in you that you're able to go get resources. So if anything happens to us or family, you know, you know what I'm saying. And some, just like some men don't like cold women that are like, I don't care about your feelings, I don't care about nothing, I just care about me. Like they don't want that. They want like the motherly characteristics and support, I
yeah,
don't men they
very
like their
true.
friends, but I don't see men like being like, it's okay, bro, and like being too like it's more like a women thing, like men will be men together, but they're not gonna replace what a woman can do.
I,
So
I agree with you a lot on that, on those roles that we need to. It's I don't want to say bring back, because we don't literally forget about it, but like understand that it's
but yeah,
important. It's
I feel
better
you.
for us. It's better for us if we know what we can do, what we can't do as a man. If you are in a relationship, what your counterpart can and can't do, because then it's just about that balance again. You know what I'm saying? And that's very
Yeah.
important.
Hmm.
You know,
Very,
and
very, but we have to be happy. I think as much as there's like all these things that are disturbing, it makes me happy when I think of what we just talked about, like nature, our roles, because whether you want it or not, it's in us. So we have so much power, more than
we
we think,
we
and
create
to the point where they're like denaturing our bodies to not feel that. That's how much powerful we are. Like whether we're lost or not, it's so in us that they're trying to do things that mess with our hormones and stuff like that, in order to make us basically not feel these things anymore. That's why also be careful with your natural cycles and what you eat and what how you sleep and what you watch, and that's pretty much
it.
it.
All right. So I think we over. Thank you very much once again for being here.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you everybody that was watching. We will have more types of these interviews. Perhaps Yomna want to join us for another, maybe go more in depth into certain topics. If you want to know, come and check this channel. All right? And if this video was interesting and fun to you, press that like button and check the links in the description down below. Yomna, you want to say goodbye, something to our viewers right now?
Yes. All right. So, well, thank you for having me on your platform. As I said, it's an honor. an honor. I'm always very grateful that people want to share time, because time is valuable, and putting me out there. And if anyone is watching right now, thank you for tuning in and learning. And yeah, there are links below to my accounts. My I do music, so you can check the link. And I also have a business where I grow and craft medicinal organic skincare for everybody. So yeah, check the links below.
And on my side, you have tarot, astrological readings, some paintings, and my gaming channels as well. All in the description down below, and also the links to my beautiful partners, Darius or Mystaria pages as well. So a lot of content, a lot of juicy content in the description down below, guys. Don't miss it out. Go check it. And once again, thank you, Yomna. Thank you, guys in the chat. I wish
Thank you.
everybody, spirit watching right now, the best thoughts, ideas, feelings, and emotions, a whole bunch of individuality, creativity, and responsibility. Follow your individuality and maintain your sanity. As a Terry Cloud Surfer and Yomna, surfing out. See you next time, y'all. Goodbye.